when a team plays in those conditions and goes into enemy territory in Denver and how difficult that is a place to play with the altitude, what impressed you most about the Pats?
Yeah, I think that game, it's just, you got to play it how it comes at you. And obviously, once we got into that second half, the weather was a major factor, the wind gust. And it's, win by any means necessary. It doesn't matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter. No one's going to remember what that game looked like or how you won it. It was ugly. Neither team could really get much established. I thought the Broncos dropped the ball a little bit, not taking the field goal to go up 10 points. But for New England, I mean, they got it done. Anytime you go on the road in the playoffs and you can pull a game out like that, especially against a defense like against Denver, and I know they didn't light the scoreboard up, but they did enough to get it done, and they're moving on.
How about the Rams and Seahawks? I thought that was super entertaining.
That made up for the lack of offense in the first one. And I got to tell you, boy, Darnold and Stafford, I mean, they were fantastic. So what can you say about Sam Darnold? I mean, the guy was thrown on the trash heap, kicked out of New York after 3 years after being the third overall pick. Nobody thought he had anything in the tank. And then, boom, he comes back last year, has a great year in Minnesota. He's not good enough for them to keep him around. They're going to go J.J. McCarthy. So the Seahawks pick him up, and look where he's at now. Unbelievable story.
Yeah, I think sometimes it does matter. What it tells me is that coaching and system does matter. It's not just the player. I saw the docuseries on John Elway over the weekend, and even though Dan Reeves was a really good coach, John Elway needed a certain system, and he got it with Mike Shanahan that eventually allowed him to win his Super Bowls. What's it tell you with Sam Darnold that even though he may have struggled with the Jets and Carolina and to a certain extent San Francisco, it seems like he's been really good in Kevin O'Connell and now Mike McDonald and their systems?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think last year getting with O'Connell and being comfortable, right, and just it's so much. You've got to be comfortable with the play caller, with the offense you're running, and have it built and catered around you. And they certainly did that last year, and he played great. Short of the final game against Detroit, but. And then it's just a matter of, okay, now you've done it, you've felt it, you've been there, you believe in yourself, right? I'm guessing his confidence was wavering a little bit coming out of New York and maybe his couple of years with the Panthers. So to have some success, I mean, success breeds success. And when you get that swagger back and you start believing and you got people around you that believe in you, that just it starts to snowball, and you can see it. I mean, and it doesn't hurt having JSN on your team. That guy is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, as great as Puka is on the other side, I mean, JSN is just uncoverable. He's amazing.
Yeah, he was fantastic. 10 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown. Fifth ever player to do that, I believe, in a conference championship game. Mitch Lyons Wealth, joining us here Mondays with Mitch every Monday, 7:18, and he will be with us at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Friday night for the watch party, Michigan State. We'll get to that here in a moment. Most think, and I don't always want to talk football with you. I know you're a massive sports fan, so I want your thoughts on this. Most fans think that the Pistons and Red Wings both need to do something. I mean, Detroit's lost to Houston at Little Caesars Arena Friday night. Everybody was all about, see, this is why they need a shooter. Red Wings have 69 points. They lead the Eastern Conference. It's been amazing. Who do you think needs it most in your mind? Who needs to add something more, the Pistons or the Red Wings?
Well, I follow basketball a little more than the Red Wings, but, I know the Red Wings, a lot of people are clamoring for some help on the defensive end. Here's the thing. I mean, everybody's got warts, right? Everybody across the league would like to add something, but you can't just add something without giving something up. And that's a balancing act. That's a precarious balancing act. You've got two teams that are in first place. I just watched Miracle again. I haven't watched it in forever. I watched it this weekend, kind of getting the Olympic spirit. And, when Herb Brooks went to pull in the other guy, 6 months into their training, and the guys were like, hey, man, we're a family. We can't bring him in. And there's a little bit of that, right? So you've got to be careful on that, bringing somebody else in. And I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater either. When you lose one game, you're going to lose some games. I mean, they've got a 5.5 game lead in the Eastern Conference for the Pistons, and obviously the Wings are on top in their conference as well. So you got to be really careful. I'd like to see the Pistons add some 3-point shooting, but who wouldn't, right? I mean, everybody in the league would like to have better 3-point shooting. So you've got to be careful of that.
Yeah, let me get to the thought. I agree 100% with that. You're a former Pittsburgh Steeler as well as Atlanta Falcon. Both of your ex-teams have new head coaches. Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh, Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. Who do you like more, and which do you think is the better fit?
I'm probably Stefanski. I was a little surprised with McCarthy. Not that he's not a good coach. I thought, he's a little older, and there's nothing. I mean, hey, 62. There's young 62s, and so I'm pushing that myself these days. So I'm not saying that's old. I just thought maybe they'd go, and maybe it's just because of what we've seen there for so long, right? Coaches with just incredible tenures there. Three guys since 1969. I kind of envisioned maybe an up and comer, or maybe Brian Flores, who'd been there, who'd done it defensively. So I was a little surprised by that one. Not that, I don't think Mike McCarthy can't win there, but you need a quarterback, and that's their first and foremost thing. And maybe he thinks he can get Will Howard to be a player. Who knows? Or whatever they end up doing in the draft, or if they bring Aaron Rodgers back, who knows? But I think Stefanski, just with his track record, a two-time NFL Coach of the Year in Cleveland, for crying out loud, that's saying something. I think if you give him some weapons and some good organizational structure around him, he can have some success in Atlanta.
I hear that. I don't disagree with it either. All right, how excited are you this week? Michigan State. I know they have games before they clash on Friday, but still, there's something special about this week, don't you think?
There is, and first of all, you don't want to fall asleep if you're Michigan State. You don't want to go to Rutgers and lay an egg. And Michigan obviously has a huge one against Nebraska. And then honestly, as a state fan, I think I probably kind of want Michigan to win that. I don't root for Michigan often, but I just soon see Nebraska get knocked off the top there and have a battle for first place on Friday night. So, yeah, I'm super excited. This is the time of year, we're almost through football here, and then we can focus all our energy on college basketball. And these two teams, it's going to be a war because they're both so good defensively. They're so balanced. They're so deep. It's a tough ticket, and deservedly so. It's going to be a great game, and I'm looking forward to watching up there with you at Soaring Eagle.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Michigan, as Mitch said, Michigan against Nebraska Tuesday. Michigan State at Rutgers Tuesday night. My daughter was at the game over the weekend against Maryland. She hasn't gone to as many basketball games as football games, but she said it was an absolute blast to be there and watch Michigan State steamroll Maryland 91-48 and watch what Jeremy Fears did. Just an incredible performance with 17 points and 17 assists. You and I are going to talk a lot of basketball, and I'm super excited to see you Friday night. Have a great week, my friend, and be safe traveling to Soaring Eagle Friday night, and I'll see you then, okay?
Will do. Look forward to it. And I know Angela and my wife's excited to come up there and root for some green and white too.
That's a beautiful thing. All right. Looking forward to that. Have a great week. And I look forward to seeing you. Absolutely. And everybody out there at Soaring Eagle on the watch party from Michigan State there Friday night as the two teams clash at the Breslin Center. This hour of X's and Bros brought to you by Meyer.
Nights of winning with Eagle Casino and Sports. Enjoy your favorite games wherever you are, whether at home or on the go. Dive into exciting slots, spin the roulette wheel, or challenge yourself with virtual table games, all at your fingertips. Sign up now and opt in to receive a deposit match up to $1,500 for the casino, plus up to 100 free spins. Download the Eagle Casino and Sports app today and experience winning with just a tap. Go you! Must be located in Michigan and 21 years or older. Other conditions apply. Visit playeagle.com to join the action. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to Shep. Don't forget the huge show later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go on the court.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Trent Valley here on the Pistons split this weekend. Here's how it went down. With the Thompson twins clashing on Friday, it was Amen's Rockets that took down Assar's Pistons, thanks in large part to Kevin Durant's vintage 32-point performance. The Pistons' Sunday matinee was more encouraging when a lousy Sacramento Kings team came to town. Detroit took a 23-point victory, led by 29 points and 11 assists from All-Star starter Cade Cunningham. Speaking of All-Stars, it was announced Saturday that J.B. Bickerstaff will be one of the head coaches at the All-Star game, becoming the fourth Pistons coach in history to do so, and the first since Flip Saunders back in 2006. The others, Chuck Daly in 1990 and Doug Collins in 97. Next up for the Pistons is a trip out west, beginning with the Denver Nuggets on Tuesday, with tips set for 9 o'clock.
Enjoy an entire week of delicious family meals for a good deal better at Meijer. Fresh from Meijer chicken or certified Angus beef ground beef from Chuck small packs are buy two, get one free, mix or match. Select varieties of Earthbound Farm organic salad mixes are buy one, get one free. And 12 packs of select Pepsi products are buy two, get one free. Plus deposit where applicable. Getting more while also saving more. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
You guys came out and took care of business and did the things that we knew were going to lead to success for us. I thought our tempo was great. I thought our ball movement was great. You know, obviously we made shots, got out to a little bit of a slow start, missed a few bunnies and stuff like that, but the guys kept trying to do the right thing. And the more and more we did the right thing, they created baskets for one another.
That was JB Bickerstaff after his team's blowout win over Sacramento. Good for him. Good for them. I'm happy for them. And there's a lot of people who are speculating, especially as I mentioned to Mitch Lyons during the Mondays with Mitch segment. Many people speculating what Detroit needs, a three-point shooter. Well, look, Duncan Robinson's done a good job from three. But I said before the season began, if you listen to the show, I said, here's the issue. Not that they should have kept the signing of Malik Beasley. Nobody else has touched this guy, okay, and probably for good reason. He made a franchise record over 300 triples last year. That's a tough thing to make up with the group of players you had coming back. You add Duncan Robinson to that mix, and you're still asking an awful lot from a guy who, well, quite honestly, isn't used to making that many in a season. He's a good three-point shooter. Don't get me wrong. He's been a nice player for this team. I think he's added something to this team that it's desperately needed. I mean, he's got 123 triples. It's pretty damn good, okay? Last year, he had 190. He's made 270 once in his career, okay? That was his second year in the league when he did it with Miami. He also made 250 the year later. So he went 3 straight years of 200 or more. That's still close to, not the 270, but 200 makes or more. That's still roughly 100 less than what Malik Beasley made last year. Who are you going to make that up with? And I reminded people, Karis LeVert is not a three-point shooting threat. Other guys on that team, without a guy like Jaden Ivey, would be hard-pressed to reach the level that they missed from both Tim Hardaway and from Malik Beasley. And I think that's the thing that people forget sometimes. And we're going to talk with Tim Hardaway Jr.'s father, Tim Hardaway Sr., later on in the week. Excited for that and to talk a little hoops with them and see perhaps what they may need. But Tim Hardaway last year, Tim Hardaway Jr., made 168 triples for Detroit. So you look at 168 and then you look at, Malik Beasley with over 300, you're talking about close to 500 triples. Who's making that up? Duncan Robinson's got 123. There's only so much Cade Cunningham could do, and he's not necessarily you wouldn't consider him is he a three-point shooting threat? Yes. Is he a high-volume three-point shooter? No, he's not. Nor should he. The three-point attempts are about what they were a year ago per game, at about 6 per game. Okay? And that's 5.5 in year 3, 5 in year 2, close to 6 in year 3. That's what he's going to be giving. But he's giving you this year just 2 makes a game. Last year, 2 makes a game. Year before, 2 makes. He's making 2 triples per game. It's not necessarily the way you're going to make up the loss of three-point shooting. So I think it's fair to say last year, he had 149. Okay. If you got that from him, if you got 150 triples from him, that's gravy. That's cool. You needed Jaden Ivey to add that to you. He has not been that guy. So I think it's fair to say that you could use a three-point shooter on this team. Read over the weekend in the Detroit News, credit where credit is due, some ideas of guys who they say are under the radar. Now, I don't know if they obviously don't listen to this show because these are names that we have discussed already. All right. For example, Trey Lyles III. Dude makes 3 triples a game. All right. I'm just looking at it from a three-point shooting standpoint. Made 158 last year, 169 the year before. Career high was 202 his second year in the league. This is a guy who's on pace to smash what he did a year ago. He'll probably have close to 200 triples made on the year. Now, it's not, I'm not asking you to make up for Malik Beasley in one player. I'm asking you to make up for Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. in the substance of your team. Bringing on a guy like this, who is a three-point shooting threat and is proven to make somewhere in the neighborhood of 160. Suddenly you get 160 there. You get 180 or more from a Duncan Robinson, perhaps even closer to 200. You get Cade Cunningham with close to 100. Then you've made up what you've lost from Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley. You understand where I'm coming from with this, right? I hope so. So this is a guy who, considering what Detroit has done and not done, and it's the three-point shooting that's concerned you the most. Getting a guy like that would really help. He has developed really into one of the league's better three-point shooters, okay? He's averaging 22 points a game, 38% shooting from beyond the arc, which is good. You want the percentage, but you need the makes, okay? And he has done that. They also mentioned DeMar DeRozan, which personally I would say no to, but they've got DeMar DeRozan. He's averaging 19 points and shooting 50.5% from the floor. Lastly, Colin Sexton, which is a name we have discussed, in his career, averaging 18.5 points, right? This year, averaging about 15 points per game, 38.5% from the floor from three. From the floor overall, closer to 50%, which is great. But from three, it's about 38.5%, which is good. He's coming off the bench in Charlotte to do it. Personally, I don't think they need a guy who's coming off the bench. I would prefer a starting player. But either way, those are a few of those names. Two of the names we've discussed. We really haven't discussed DeMar DeRozan much. Michael Porter Jr. is an obvious one. We have mentioned Domantas Sabonis, who just came back from an injury and played pretty well last night. And we have mentioned Lauri Markkanen. I think it's going to be really hard to get either of the last two. I think with the wings, we look at, while everybody's talking about forwards, I've mentioned defensemen. And with the Pistons, while people are talking about three-point shooting, we need to keep in mind that down low, they wouldn't have, it would help them to get a guy who can also score from the low post on a regular basis opposite Jalen Duren in a starting lineup. I don't think there's enough said for that. And I think a lot of it is because, well, Detroit dominates the paint usually when you got Isaiah Stewart coming off the bench. Granted, but if you're not going to be able to get that three-point shooter, you get a guy like Sabonis, as I've mentioned, who's a really good passer too, kicking it out after a double team. It gives you better three-point looks. Something to keep in mind moving forward. So if you got a thought on that, the Meyer Hotline, 866-838-4843. You could text us, Sports Radio, to 21,000. I do have a quick question about, because Trent had brought this up earlier, and Mitch Lyons just brought it up too, and it was about Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh. 62-year-old, doing it the same way. The expectation, not that Mitch and Trent feel this way, but that's why I wanted to clarify it. Trent said a lot of his buddies are Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and they're pissed. They're pissed that they hired a guy like Mike McCarthy. And I said, why do you think that is? And he said, because, they've just always done it a certain way. Well, has that way worked over the last 8 years? It hasn't. Is it fair to say Pittsburgh's been built primarily on the defensive side of the ball in their history?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the league has changed at all?
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of their angst came over the last 15 years.
Sure. So if that's the case, and I'm not trying to make a case for Mike McCarthy, it surprised me too. All right. But why wouldn't you want something different? Why do you feel like it needs to stay the same? I think it has to do with age. I think he's 62 years old. If I said the guy won 61% of his games, you'd say that's pretty damn good. If I said in 2022 and 2023, when he was coaching, his offense is ranked first and fourth, you would say that's pretty damn good. If I said the guy's won a Super Bowl, you'd say that's pretty damn good, right? Those are all check marks until I get to the age aspect and I say he's 62 and you go, wait a minute, there's a red flag here. Everybody else is getting younger. Well, the Giants didn't necessarily get younger, by the way. The Chiefs aren't younger, by the way. I'm just wondering,
Well, also
the
though, what
belief.
about recent playoff success? Because that was a big knock on Tomlin. You can win 60% of your games all you want.
Yes.
Recent playoff success. Mike McCarthy never had a run with Dallas, did he?
No.
And I couldn't tell you when his last good run with Green Bay was either. Because
I would argue this, and I'm not trying to make a big deal out of Mike McCarthy. Okay, so please don't think that. But he had offensive talent. How much defensive talent did he have in Dallas, where he went 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, and 7-10 in his last 4 years?
I mean, he had Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
He had DeMarcus Lawrence. He had Trayvon Diggs when he was good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He had players. It's not like they had nobodies.
I didn't say he didn't have anybody. I'm just wondering how good they were in general.
Yeah, the offense was better for sure, and it was built on its offense, but they had some star players on defense, particularly Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Winning one playoff game. You're right. Winning one playoff game isn't going to cut it, especially when they get their ass kicked by Green Bay, right?
So I think that maybe combined with, I think the age is the biggest thing. I think you're right. The age is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Combined with the lack of recent playoff success, I think it's a bit of a head scratcher for Steelers fans, and it's something that they're not used to. It's something they're unfamiliar with. This whole offensive scheme first thing. They don't know what the hell they're doing now.
Yeah.
The fans.
But those fans are probably the same fan base that complained that their offense stinks.
Yeah, so this might not be a horrible thing, and they might adjust to it. They might like it, but they're just right now they're in unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think outside the box. Again, it wouldn't have been my choice by any stretch, but I'm just trying to think outside the box. When you said they're used to doing things a certain way, but that way hasn't worked. How long do you stay on a route of doing something before you recognize it's not working? I got to shift my mindset. Didn't we say that about Brad Holmes and the Lions? He did things a certain way. He stayed true to his principles of going, I'm going to draft and develop young players. When you and I kept complaining, hold on a second, you've got to adjust. It hasn't worked this year. We want trades or free agencies. You've got to be more aggressive in both. We're asking this guy to change his mindset. And then, to a certain extent, we're looking at another situation in the National Football League, and we're expecting them, even though it hasn't worked for 8 years, to keep their mindset.
And this is where it's similar to the Petzing hire in Detroit with offensive coordinator, where it's like, we're not really going to know until camp starts at least, and most likely we're not going to know for sure until midway through September if this is going to work out or if it shows flashes of working out. So we can talk about it all we want right now.
Well,
Mike McCarthy
deserves
deserves
about any coach, couldn't you? Could you say,
that's my point.
We're not going to know.
It doesn't do you any good to complain right now.
The difference, I suppose, the Petzing is a 3-year sample size, and it's one good year. With Mike McCarthy, it's a long sample. It's an 18-year sample size. He's had more than one good year. In fact, you could argue 3 of his last 4 years were very good. Regular season. Doesn't mean he was good in the postseason. He got one win during that stretch. But regular season, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, by no means am I comparing those two. I'm simply just saying that the principle of overreacting, whether it's good or bad, at the end of January, right after the hire is made, does you no good. You got to give it a chance. It's just this Steelers thing. Mike McCarthy might fit great there. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I don't really think you do either, but we can't just write him off.
Yeah, I don't think that would be wise. It's easy for us outside of a market to say, just be patient. People could say that about, you're right, about us and the Drew Petzing hire. Maybe even the promotion of one Kelvin Shepard. Just be patient. Maybe it will work out. At least he's got an offensive coordinator position under his belt. He's done this before. Okay. Try to be as patient as you can. The knee-jerk reaction, much like you and I, when Drew Petzing was hired, is the same thing your buddies are going through. Those who are Pittsburgh.
Yes, and that's all I mean is that, it's easy for fans to let their emotions get in the way. Newsflash.
Yeah, we all do it. Speaking of Pittsburgh, different Pittsburgh, but the Pittsburgh Pirates, Andrew McCutchen is pretty pissed off.
Uh-oh.
He's pissed off because, and he's called out the Pirates because he feels like he's got more baseball in him. There's more business to be done. And as a free agent, he is wondering why in the world he's still unsigned. okay? And he also suggested on social media at the age of 39 that the Pirates are treating him differently than how other teams are handling their stars later in their careers. Here's his quote. I wonder, did the Cards do this to Wainwright or Pujols or Yadi Molina? The Dodgers to Kershaw? The Tigers to Miggy? The list goes on and on and on. If this is my last year, it would have been nice to meet the fans one last time. Okay. So I think it's a really good point. I like Andrew McCutchen, first and foremost. I think he's a really good player. Former MVP, former Gold Glove winner. He's won 4 Silver Sluggers. He's been a 5-time All-Star. He's 3rd all-time in Pittsburgh history, just past Roberto Clemente in home runs. And he's got over 22. He's closer to 2,300 career hits than 2,200. This isn't a ECL Hall of Fame player discussion. It's how a team treats a player. The Pirates, we just got done talking about how things are done, right? The Pirates have kind of done things the same all the time, too. What have they done? What they do is they get a high draft pick, they marinate in the minors, they come up, they have some success, and they move them on before they reach any type of possible long-term salary hit. That's why many people feel like Paul Skeens would be available for the right price at some point. It's almost as if Pittsburgh is a minor league affiliate of every team in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they're a feeder program.
That's what it seems like. Andrew McCutchen they've brought back, and he's been more than just a, swan song curtain call type player. All right. Spent the last 3 years with the Pirates. Last year, though, keep this in mind. He hit 239 with 13 homers and a stolen base. He played 135 games. He hit 239, only 13 homers, and 1 stolen base. He had an OPS of 367. At age 39, do you bring him back just because he's been one of your franchise's all-time great players? Or do you let him go because you're trying to do things differently? You're trying to change some things. How much can a guy make a difference in a clubhouse? Those are all the things that I'm sure they are weighing. I don't know their front office, but my guess is that's something that they're, they've deeply considered. Do you tug at the heartstrings of the fan base and try to do something like that? Hey, listen, that is one of those situations, okay, where it's hard to justify it. That is a horrible OPS. That is slightly above what Jace Young did or Akil Baddoo did for the Tigers this past year in a much smaller sample size. Turning the page can be hard, but it's probably necessary in Pittsburgh. We're back with the final hour. This hour has been brought to you by Meyer here on X's and Bros. Stay with us.
Soar to new heights of winning with Eagle Casino and Sports. Enjoy your favorite games wherever you are, whether at home or on the go. Dive into exciting slots, spin the roulette wheel, or challenge yourself with virtual table games, all at your fingertips. Sign up now and opt in to receive a deposit match up to $1,500 for the casino, plus up to 100 free spins. Download the Eagle Casino and Sports app today and experience winning with just a tap. Go you. Must be located in Michigan and 21 years or older. Other conditions apply. Visit playeagle.com to join the action. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
NFL playoffs. Hey, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in that moment. Make every moment matter this NFL postseason with DraftKings. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half, so why bet player props anywhere else? It doesn't make any sense. New customers, here's your shot. Bet $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code HUGE to turn $5 into $300 bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility and restrictions do apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at DKNG.com/audio limited time offer.
Enjoy an entire week of delicious family meals for a good deal better at Meijer. Fresh from Meijer chicken or certified Angus beef ground beef from Chuck small packs are buy two, get one free, mix or match. Select varieties of Earthbound Farm organic salad mixes are buy one, get one free. And 12 packs of select Pepsi products are buy two, get one free. Plus deposit where applicable. Getting more while also saving more. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
This week is filled with intensity. Two of the best teams in college basketball clash for the first time this year, Friday night in East Lansing. It's Michigan State week, and we want to send you to the game at the Breslin Center. The Huge Show will broadcast live from Soaring Eagle Thursday from 3 until 6 in the afternoon. The winner will be drawn and take a friend to the game with Bill Simonson. Metro Cars and Metro Cab of Grand Rapids will allow you to ride and arrive in style. They will pick you up and drop you off Friday afternoon. Lansing Brewing Company will host a happy hour pregame from 3 until 5 at their brewery in the Stadium District. They'll have a pair of additional tickets to give away. And Shep will host a watch party Friday night at Ascend inside Soaring Eagle with former Spartan Mitch Lyons. Listen to X's and BrO's in the morning and the Huge Show in the afternoon. And text the word Soaring Eagle to 21,000 to register. The word is Soaring Eagle to 21,000. And good luck. Final hour of X's and Bros on this busy Monday. Thanks for being with us. This hour is brought to you by our friends at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, which is where we will be having the watch party Friday night for Michigan State. Hope you can join us at Ascend. I'm going to be ordering a burger. They can put it on the grill right now for me. I can promise you that. And then don't forget, Bill Simonson will be there Thursday from 3 until 6 in the afternoon. He will draw the winner. How do you become a winner? Easy. All you have to do is text Soaring Eagle to 21,000, and then you're registered for 2 tickets to watch Michigan and Michigan State duke it out. Both teams have a game before then. It's Tuesday night. It'll be tomorrow night. Michigan is home to Nebraska. Michigan State is on the road to Rutgers. Hopefully both of them win, and then sets up the duel at the Breslin Center on Friday night. Also, our friends at Lansing Brewing Company, they've got some outstanding new beers out that I would strongly encourage you to try. And they've got really good food at their restaurant too. They're right there in the Arena District there on Shiawassee, 518 Shiawassee. Go there. They've got a happy hour on Friday that you should be part of from 3 until 6, and you're gonna get a chance to win 2 tickets to the game in there too. So we're giving you a combination with our partners, a chance for 4 people to go to Michigan State. Again, text Soaring Eagle to 21,000. And part of that, by the way, is that you'll be picked up by our friends at MetroCar, the #1 delivery in Grand Rapids to the airport. MetroCar will pick you up at your home, take you to the Michigan State game, and then bring you home. So we've got some great partners in Lansing Brewing Company. We've got great partners in MetroCar, great partners at Soaring Eagle, great partner in MitchLionsWealth.com and Mitch Lions Wealth. And all that is part of this fantastic promotion. Again, text Soaring Eagle to 21,000. In case you missed it, I doubt you did. If you're listening to this program, you're a sports fan. Seahawks beat the Rams 31-27. Sam Darnold was fantastic. Really was. Wouldn't be surprised if he leads the way in terms of hero and heel at 8-18. Patriots reached their 12th Super Bowl. There's only 2 organizations that have reached championships. Or I'm sorry, there are 3, right? It would be, the Canadians, American-based, Lakers, Celtics, and Yankees, more than, I believe, the New England Patriots. They win 10-7 in Denver, so they're into the Super Bowl. Pistons beat Sacramento, blew them out, 139-116. Second highest scoring game of the year. They made 50 field goals, 16 triples. Cade Cunningham had 29 points, 11 assists. And the thing that's not getting talked about, and you understand because football is king, but in the world of golf, Scottie Scheffler was down a stroke heading into the final round, shot a 666 yesterday. He wins in his first tournament played of the season in California. It's called the American Express Open. He finishes 27 under par, 4 clear of the field, and at age 29 now has 20 wins. There's only 2 other golfers in history who have 20 wins or more by the age of 29 or before the age of 30. Who are they? Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. He has 16 straight top 10 finishes. Longest run for any golfer since 1970. Yeah. Longer than Nicklaus, longer than Woods, longer than McIlroy, all this other stuff. I mean, I know many people feel like he's boring, but his numbers are crazy. He's also the 3rd golfer ever to earn over $100 million. I think the other 2, obviously Woods is one of them. I think the other one's Phil Mickelson, right? Anyway, impressive stuff from what Scottie Scheffler did over the weekend. Here's the Mitch Lions Wealth poll question. Who had the best performance over the weekend? Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Patriots defense, or Scottie Scheffler? Vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. We'll give you the results in the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow. Or you can, if you follow me on Twitter, at ShepMatt, I have also retweeted it. And in case you're wondering, the reason we put New England in there is because the Broncos offense ran 58 plays, and gained 181 yards. That's it. Jarrett Stidham, I mean, passing-wise, they threw for 102. Stidham, they say 133. But when you take away certain other aspects of the game, it's less than that. So New England's defense belongs in that conversation. The reason we put Sam Darnold in there is because all he did was throw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the reason we put Jackson Smith and Jigba in there is because he caught 10 passes for 153 yards and a touchdown. 10 passes on 12 targets. That will be New England's number one concern, right? The one thing they'll have to do is cover Jackson Smith and Jigba. The reason I originally thought of putting Matthew Stafford in instead of Scotty Scheffler is because Stafford threw for more yards than Sam Darnold did on fewer attempts and fewer makes. He averaged yards per pass was higher than Darnold. He threw as many touchdowns as Darnold, and he had a better rating than Sam Darnold at 127. No, I'm sorry. Darnold was 127.8. Stafford was 127.6. So I thought about putting him in there, but Trent convinced me of Scotty Scheffler, and I think he's right. What Scotty Scheffler did was simply amazing. So vote as often as you want, okay? Let's get to the results of Friday's poll question. This is where we asked you who were going to win the championship games, the NFC championship game and the AFC championship game. In so many words, who was going to be the Super Bowl contenders? How many people got it right? This is actually, there is an actual right answer to this poll question. Sometimes, most of the times we give you a poll question, there is no right answer. It's your opinion. This one, there is a right answer. It's obvious that it's the Patriots and the Broncos, the Patriots and the Seahawks. So how many people got it right?
Yeah, and this is fun because these polls are only open for 24 hours. So we put this out Friday, and it closed before any of the action. And we've got a smart audience, Shep, because 50% of you who voted said Seahawks versus Patriots would be the Super Bowl matchup. 35% thought it would be Rams-Patriots. 11% said Seahawks-Broncos. Only 4% said Rams-Broncos. So if you add up 50 and 35, 85% of you at least had the Patriots beating the Broncos. And then it was just a matter of Seahawks and Rams.
So much of that, right, is because of Jarrett Stidham.
Yes, and understandably so, and he showed why.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I wonder if it would outweigh at all. I mean, look, there are other first-year or fill-in guys who've reached the Super Bowl. Vince Ferragamo, Kurt Warner, Phil Simms, Nick Foles. They all did it, right? I thought it would be a close game. It was a close game. I actually picked Denver. Part of it is because you're going against the grain, but I was obviously wrong there. I picked the Rams. I was wrong in that regard, too. That fumble pump is just a killer. All right, how about the daily wager? How'd you do?
Not good because we took the Rams plus 2.5. I was with you. I thought the Rams are going to win that game, and if I was getting 2.5 points, I was going to jump all over that. But tonight, kind of a weird situation. The Warriors and Timberwolves are playing a second game in a row against each other because of some things, of course, that happened in Minnesota over the weekend. And yesterday, the Warriors they crushed the T-Wolves. So tonight in that second game that tips off at 9:30 p.m. in Minneapolis, I will take the T-Wolves money line. I just don't think they're going to lose 2 in a row to a Warriors team that is down Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. And it was Steph Curry had 26. Anthony Edwards had 32 in a 111-85 final. Okay, so you got the Timberwolves tonight. Tomorrow, I'm interested to get your daily wagers since both Michigan and Michigan State are playing. When we come back, 8:18, we will give you our hero and heel. We do it for you every Monday. The best and the worst of the week or weekend. We want yours here on X's and Bros on the Meyer Hotline, 866-838-4843. Give us a call here on a Monday morning.
It's time to go on the court.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Trent Valley here, and the Pistons split this weekend. Here's how it went down. With the Thompson twins clashing on Friday, it was Amen's Rockets that took down Asard's Pistons, thanks in large part to Kevin Durant's vintage 32-point performance. The Pistons' Sunday matinee was more encouraging when a lousy Sacramento Kings team came to town. Detroit took a 23-point victory, led by 29 points and 11 assists from All-Star starter Cade Cunningham. Speaking of All-Stars, it was announced Saturday that J.B. Bickerstaff will be one of the head coaches at the All-Star game. becoming the 4th Pistons coach in history to do so and the first since Flip Saunders back in 2006. The others, Chuck Daly in 1990 and Doug Collins in 97. Next up for the Pistons is a trip out west, beginning with the Denver Nuggets on Tuesday, with tips set for 9 o'clock.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
One of the many things I enjoy about Monday is the Hero and Heel segment at 8:18. We do it for you every Monday morning. We ask you for your best of the week and or weekend, all one. And we ask you for your worst. Who turned your head in a good way? Who was disappointing to you in a negative way? All right? So let's get to it. My hero is JB Bickerstaff. Pistons head coach has been named coach of the season, or coach of the Eastern Conference, I should say, first half of the season. All-Stars, Eastern Conference All-Stars, for the first time in his career. As Trent pointed out in a really good Pistons wrap-up there on the court, Bickerstaff becomes the first Pistons coach ever to earn such an honor since Flip Saunders in 2006, and the fourth Pistons coach to ever do it. His team, 32-12. They own a 5.5 game lead in the conference, but maybe more importantly, a 7.5 game lead in the division. That's something that's been kind of overlooked, and that's partly my fault, at least on this show. We have looked at the conference standings. If you look at the division standings, it is clear that they are better, so much better than everybody else. Cleveland's 7.5 back. Chicago's 10.5 back. And Chicago is barely above 500. So that's why we're looking at the conference. In fairness to us, the reason we look at the conference is because we already assume, acknowledge, recognize, and expect Detroit to win the division without much trouble because of the numbers that they've put up so far. At 33-11, 22 games clear of 500, winners in 8 of their last 10, winners in 5 of their last 6. The Pistons, because of JB Bickerstaff, who's now an all-star coach, would be many people's hero of the week. Trent, who do you got?
Yeah, and I know people don't really care about the NBA All-Star Weekend, but look, this is not nothing. It's a good barometer for where the Pistons are. You know, even if you don't care, you have to acknowledge that he's getting recognized for his
I think it's great for a coach.
I do
think
too.
It's great for players too. And Cade Cunningham is going to be there as a starter, and I would expect Jalen Duren too. JB Bickerstaff deserves that. I think it's a big deal. I mean, I'm only because of the recognition you get from it. I think the event is a joke, but
most
the
people
game
do.
itself, or being recognized as the best in what you've done so far, is not a joke.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. It's not nothing to be chosen for that. So well put, Shep. My hero for the weekend, couple of Big Ten point guards. Bear with me. First, hats off to Trey Burke. Had his number 3 jersey raised to the rafters at Chrysler on Friday. Well-deserved. Shep could give a better insight into his career, but just to be so impactful in your 2 seasons on campus, just 2 years. I wanted to first give him his due from a Spartan to a Wolverine. Congrats to the best Michigan basketball player I've ever seen. So 99 and on. I mean, he's the best I've ever seen at that school. Now, the other Big Ten point guard, of course, is Jeremy Fears. He's the first player in Big Ten history to have a 17-point, 17-assist game. Double-double, of course. He has full control of this MSU offense. He has that pulse. He has his finger on the pulse so well. He truly is that extension of Tom Izzo on the floor. And as a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, he's looking like that kind of point guard that has always been central to a vintage Tom Izzo run in March. Not saying that's what's going to happen. Just saying we're seeing the early workings of that as we approach February. He helps lead MSU to its largest margin of victory at a Big Ten game in 26 years. So Jeremy Fears and Trey Burke are my heroes from the weekend.
I love that. I love the fact that this kid is, first of all, I think he's second in the country in total assists.
Yeah, Braden Smith's ahead of him. That's it.
Braden Smith has 185. Jeremy Fears has 177. I love how he lets the game come to him. I think that's a really important trait for a point guard. He knows how it works. Here's the other important thing to remember, okay? For a guy who handles the ball this much, he is 4th in the country in assist to turnover ratio, all right? Caden Vasco of Woolford, Sam Holberg of Nebraska, and Taman Lipsey of Iowa State are only better. Here's the key to that. They're not primary ball handlers. Those guys have 83, 83, and 91 assists. Jeremy Fears has twice as many, 177. So their assist to ratio is a little bit higher than Jeremy Fears. give me Jeremy Fears every single day of the week, twice on, in this case, Saturday, because of college basketball.
Very impressive. Yep.
All for it. Yeah. Well done. I like that one. Nothing wrong with double dipping there. All right. Here's the heel. For me, it's Terry Pegula. It continues to be Terry Pegula. You could literally put him on your heel just about every single week of this segment. He's the owner of the Buffalo Bills. And I think it's great when you believe in your general manager. Why you promote a guy who comes in with Sean McDermott at the same time, kind of at the hip, and then fire your coach is a little strange. But him trying to school the media that his GM, now president of football operations, didn't want Keon Coleman was embarrassing and has put his team in a really bad situation. I would love to be a fly on the wall in a number of different circumstances in sports history. This being one of them, I would love to know if Terry Pegula got together with his president of football operations after that press conference, and maybe a day later, after everything on social media was put out there, that his GM at the time did want Keon Coleman. Because I believe his GM convinced him that he didn't, that he was pushed by the coaches. And Pegula made an ass out of himself. He was defensive in his final press conference, has seemingly lost the fan base, had Mike McDaniel cancel his second interview, and now it's getting more challenging for them to find a replacement for Sean McDermott if they don't go inside. So he's my heel of the week.
Good pick. My heel. It's a little bit of a sympathetic heel. Not really. I'm not blaming these people, but my heel for the weekend is Jets fans. Talk about a miserable weekend. Not only did you have to watch the Patriots, who have completely rebuilt. I mean, they ran your division forever, okay? Then Tom Brady leaves. They rebuild by drafting Mac Jones. That doesn't work. They draft a second quarterback. They do all of this in a 5-year, 6-year span. They get back to a Super Bowl, completely turn their franchise around again without you even making the playoffs once in that time frame. And then you add to that, Shep, they had to watch Sam Darnold ball his way to a Super Bowl appearance, not get dragged, not a super elite defense that got him there, or not a super elite run game. I mean, the Seahawks are a very good team. They have those things, of course. Sam Darnold played great in these playoffs. He played great yesterday, and that was supposed to be their franchise guy. I can't think of a fan base outside of Denver and L.A., of course, the few L.A. fans that do exist, that had a rougher weekend of football viewing than Jets fans.
That's a really good question. I wonder, I would be very interested to know how Denver fans feel today, considering they have the built-in excuse. They do. I mean, when you've got a quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL for over 2+ years, and he's starting in the AFC Championship game, and you lose by just a field goal, you can complain about Sean Payton not kicking the field goal. You can complain about not getting Jarrett Stidham any pass plays during the regular season if you'd like. But they do have the built-in excuse that Bo Nix was not there and could always play the what-if game. That's a possibility. But you're right. I mean, I didn't think about that. The Jets just, I mean, they've got to be rolling over. Just keep in mind, they're all those people wanted him out. They were not huge fans of Sam Darnold after being the 3rd overall pick, but now becoming the first quarterback since that class of 2018 to take a team to a Super Bowl. All right, when we come back, Tarek Skubal gives the Tigers a little bit of hope. Do you think it's possible? And one of our teams is getting disrespected, or maybe is that too strong of a word? We'll get to all that and more when we wrap things up here on X's and Bros, brought to you this hour by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.tv. That's MHSAA.tv. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
This week is filled with intensity.
Two of the best teams in college basketball clash for the first time this year, Friday night in East Lansing. It's Michigan State week, and we want to send you to the game at the Breslin Center. The Huge Show will broadcast live from Soaring Eagle Thursday from 3 until 6 in the afternoon. The winner will be drawn and take a friend to the game with Bill Simonson. Metro Cars and Metro Cab of Grand Rapids will allow you to ride and arrive in style. They will pick you up and drop you off Friday afternoon. Lansing Brewing Company will host a happy hour pregame from 3 until 5 at their brewery in the Stadium District. They'll have a pair of additional tickets to give away. And Shep will host a watch party Friday night at Ascend inside Soaring Eagle with former Spartan Mitch Lyons. Listen to X's and BrO's in the morning and the Huge Show in the afternoon. And text the word Soaring Eagle to 21,000 to register. The word is Soaring Eagle to 21,000. And good luck.
Soar to new heights of winning with Eagle Casino and Sports. Enjoy your favorite games wherever you are, whether at home or on the go. Dive into exciting slots, spin the roulette wheel, or challenge yourself with virtual table games, all at your fingertips. Sign up now and opt in to receive a deposit match up to $1,500 for the casino, plus up to 100 free spins. Download the Eagle Casino and Sports app today and experience winning with just a tap. Go you! Must be located in Michigan and 21 years or older. Other conditions apply. Visit playeagle.com to join the action. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
It's an honor to be back here, and it's something I'll never take for granted. After last year's dinner, I told AJ the same time next year, but I didn't really know it would become a reality. Skip, for the sake of superstition and a three-peat, let's go ahead and keep the same plan for a year from now. In all seriousness, I never take moments like these for granted, because who knows how many times I'll be able to share the space with these people.
Welcome back. That's Tarek Skubal officially receiving his Cy Young Award the other night. Pretty cool event. Said a lot of the right things. Trent, when you hear that soundbite that you've kind of pushed together, edited together, which is great, suggesting that, let's just plan on the same thing for next year. So that tells you, if you're looking at the glass half full, he's going to be with Detroit this year. He expects to be in Detroit this year. So that's great. The part that might concern you is at the end where he says you never know how long you're going to be, part of this.
That's the part that stuck with me. That's the part of the quote.
Because not just you, everybody dwells on the negative.
Yeah.
You're
it's hard not
looking
to.
For the negative. Yeah.
Especially in this situation, there's not much positive in this situation.
Well, has there been any positive in the offseason at all?
No.
I mean, I swear, you better not. If you talk about Salmons, I'm gonna freaking jump through them. Right.
So, I mean, Torres is back. Can I give that?
Okay.
That's if we're really searching for something here.
So Torres, $22 million.
Yeah.
Who else?
I don't know, Chef. That's it. I agree with you.
Who else has excited you so far this offseason?
Nobody. For the Tigers, nobody.
Right. That's the deep concern that I have. Don't give me this, international free agent class. Okay. I don't want to hear about that. I want to know about the guys who are going to make this team different. Okay. Kenley Jansen. Does that excite you at all?
It would have 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Right. Kyle Finnegan. Thumbs up. I like that. Here's what Detroit has done. Gleyber Torres, $22 million. Kyle Finnegan, $19 million. Kenley Jansen, $11 million. Drew Anderson, $7 million. So I'm not great at math. All right. So help me with this. That is $59 million. I am not the kind of person who believes that spending money wins you games. All right. But they've spent $59 million. It's better than Milwaukee. Milwaukee won their division last year. You know how much they've spent in the offseason? $1.25 million. That's on Akil Baddoo. It's better than the A's. A's spent $2.88 million. It's better than the Washington Nationals. They spent $5.5 million. Baltimore has spent $195 million. The Yankees have spent $191.3 million. The Phillies have spent $228 million. The Mets have spent $343 million. Toronto's the only team to outspend the Dodgers. The Dodgers on 3 free agents spent $314.5 million. $314.5 million. Kyle Tucker, Edwin Diaz, Miguel Rojas. All right. Toronto has spent $353 million. I'll reiterate. The Tigers at 59. Don't you dare tell me, well, the Tigers have more holes than some of those other teams. Or less holes, excuse me. No. And again, let me just reiterate. I'm not a believer that you spend money just for the sake of spending money. If I were a GM, I wouldn't have that opinion. If I were an owner, I wouldn't have that opinion. Do you not believe that the Tigers need to spend money? Yes. How you spend it is most important. Nobody ever thought. I mean, unless you're in La La Land, did you really think they were going to get Bo Bichette? Did you really think they were going to get Kyle Tucker? I mean, come on. Can we be real? Stop reading clippings of the team force-feeding the media and the media then selling it to us. We're getting that right now with Drew Petzing. I hope you recognize that. And it's the same thing right now. Tarek Skubal says he wants to run it back, do the same thing with A.J. Hinch at that banquet. Well, as Freddie texts us, Scott Harris shows us the same plan every day. We're well aware. The Dodgers, I want you to think about this. The projected luxury tax payroll for the Dodgers this year will be $412 million. For the Mets, it'll be $386. And for the Phillies, it'll be $326. In other words, the Dodgers, based on their projected payroll, will have $161 million luxury tax. Shep, there's no salary cap in baseball. No, but usually when you have a luxury tax like this, it would prevent teams. They're going to pay $161 million in luxury tax. That is more than most teams' payrolls. It's more than the entire payroll of 12 MLB teams. It's close to Detroit's. Okay? Think of that. The Mets are second with their payroll at 386 as it stands right now, and the Phillies are third at 326. So they're going to have a luxury tax, but it's not going to be $161 million. The total cost of the Dodgers' entire 2026 roster as of right now, that combines their luxury tax, 161, and their tax bill is $574 million. $500 million, more than $500 million. There you go. That tells you something, doesn't it? They don't care. They go about their business on trying to win championships. That's their focus. Whatever is necessary. They'll worry about the other stuff later. They know they're going to sell out every home game. They know they're making marketing left and right, hand over fist, whatever cliche you want, not just locally or nationally, but internationally. They're so far ahead of the curve. Saw something over the weekend where Shaquille O'Neal was kind of dissing on Charles Barkley. I don't know if it was a live event, because as Charles Barkley has complained about, and rightfully so, that ESPN just doesn't air their show very often. I think it's aired like 4 or 5 times, which is crazy. It used to be a regular thing for NBA fans. Some would consider it the best studio show in sports history. Tough to argue that.
Very decorated show. And if you watch it, I mean, I know NBA might not be your cup of tea. Those guys might not be your cup of tea. It's very well put together. It's very well produced. It's very entertaining.
Absolutely. Ernie Johnson knows when to get the hell out of the way.
Oh, he's excellent at that job.
Those guys are not afraid to say things that you and I believe or what we would want said. They don't kowtow to the league, and they don't kowtow to players. It's perfect. And they still keep their credibility, and for good reason. Not that I would want them doing the college basketball aspect of it, which I think is a push, but I do believe what they do with the NBA is fantastic. Shaquille O'Neal said this the other day when they were talking about the Knicks. God almighty, it's unbelievable. I mean, I hope people see through this stuff. I don't know if they do or not.
I think it's a requirement of that network.
Regular basis.
If the Knicks are
every single time I see something regarding the NBA, it's either New York or Los Angeles. We've got to put something in there for LeBron James, and we've got to put something in there for the New York Knicks.
If the Knicks are in the top 6 in the East, they have to be talked about every single day, no matter what.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Honestly, I'd love to do like some type of study where how often they're talking about the New York Knicks when you've got a Pistons team. And am I being a little sensitive? Probably too much. But a Pistons team that's 22 games above the break even leads the New York Knicks by 8.5. But let's focus on the Knicks. Okay. Anyway, Charles Barkley was talking about that. Not that he was focusing on the Knicks, but they were coming off a segment where, the Knicks had played or something along those lines. And Shaquille O'Neal said, what surprises me is your disrespect for the Pistons. And Charles Barkley said, well, I'm not disrespecting the Pistons, but you've got to show me. My immediate thought, and I said this out loud, was, what do you mean show you? What is it they have to show you? How can they show you more than what they've done in 44 games? What is it you need to see? What did the Knicks show you a year ago that has transpired into this year? Losing in the Eastern Conference Finals? Okay. So you're going to talk more about them, give them the benefit of the doubt, even though they're a team that has played, won 4 of their last 10, and they're on a 2-game mini roll, and people feel really good about that? I mean, come on. I don't understand that. You know why you're talking about them. It's because of the market, and it's because people are pushing that at you. Now, with that said, and I'm not so naive to think that they should be talking about the Pistons every single night. No, that's not realistic. And they shouldn't. They should talk about teams that are struggling. We do it all the time. You talk about teams that are surprisingly bad, teams that are surprisingly good, teams that are very steady. It's oftentimes what sports radio is driven. That's how it's driven. So I don't expect them every single night. I want to see the best team in the East and them talking about the Pistons. No, that's not right. You're going to talk about other teams. But it seems like it is a constant theme for that network anyway to be pushing the Knicks at us. That said, I look at The Athletic and I think to myself, okay, I see their latest power rankings in the National Hockey League. This is where, and I think the word is overused. I do. Disrespect is overused. But this is where it might be appropriate. The Detroit Red Wings are 32-16-5. The Detroit Red Wings have been very steady, and they have been, very consistent, and they are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. Tampa is 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. Buffalo is 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. Okay? The Bruins have won 8 of their last 10. There's some teams playing really good hockey right now in the Atlantic Division, let alone the Eastern Conference. Detroit leads the Eastern Conference with 69 points. They lead the Eastern Conference with 32 wins. You would think, not that they have to be top 3 or anything like that. One is reserved for Colorado. It's stupid how good they are. More home wins, percentage-wise, more road wins. They're 15-4-5 on the road. That's crazy, all right? And this is a team that's kind of hit a little bit of a lull by playing 500 over the last 10 games. But they're still 35-6, 35-6-9. It's crazy. By far and away, the leader in points with 79. Detroit leads the East in points with 69. Colorado has 10 more points to lead everybody. But Detroit does have the second most points in the National Hockey League. I think it's fair to assume that that's a team that deserves to be ranked at least in the top 5, don't you think? Here's what The Athletic has. Tampa at 1. Okay. They're a really good hockey team. They're right behind Detroit. I can understand that. I really like the way that, and plus they were ranked, first in last week's poll, and they went through a stretch where they went unbeaten in 14 straight games. I have no problem with that. 2, Colorado. If I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What are you talking about? 3, Carolina. Okay. They're right there with Detroit in terms of, 1 point back in terms of overall wins with 32. So I get that. All right. Buffalo. Timeout. That's where I have an issue. Buffalo is 4. Minnesota is 5. Las Vegas is 6. Now it's starting to become a little bothersome. Las Vegas leads the Pacific and the West. They have 62 points. Okay? 62. They're 12-7-6 at home. Detroit, 18-8-1 at home. Detroit, 7 more points than them. That's a big jump, man. It's not like it's 1, 2, 3, even 4. That's a big jump right there. They've got the Red Wings at 7. Some might view the Red Wings as one of the league's healthiest teams. They might say that Detroit has been fortunate compared to the rest of the league. I don't understand why that's... Look, we can't use injuries as an excuse in sports. Fair enough. Don't tell me that because they're healthy that's a little bit of a misnomer and you got to dock them points because of their health. You can't have it both ways. Anytime a team misses the literal top 2 picks of the draft for 10 games or more, it makes an impact. 7 seems way too low for me. But this is a weekly thing, and it varies. My issue is Detroit's had a really good week, and they've had a great season so far. Let's get to some texts. On the text line, Sports Radio 21,000. Go ahead.
Yeah, before we get out of here, we got a couple hero and heel submissions.
Good.
Hero, Michigan State's defense. I'm assuming that means basketball, of course.
Yeah, they were fantastic against Maryland. Yep.
Heel, Tariq Woolen. That Seahawks game, or the Seahawks had that game well taken care of until he got that taunting call.
Why did he do that?
That's a great point.
Should that have been a call?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, especially when it's reported that the referee warned him. Knock it off. He kept doing it. If you're not going to call it then, when do you call it? I think I'm always been a big believer. You call it. If it's a foul, if it's an infraction, then it's always an infraction. It's a good one.
Doesn't matter when in the game is what you're saying.
Okay, another one. Yep.
Yeah. The next one says, hero, Cade Cunningham. Heel, Tony Romo.
Okay, I get the Cade Cunningham for sure. Love what he did yesterday. Explain the Tony Romo, I wonder.
I don't know. Do you like him in the booth?
No.
I'm not a huge fan either. I think he gets a little irritating.
Oh, my God. I mean, I don't
a little slapstick phony sometimes.
Trent, there's no substance, bud.
I mean, if you juxtapose it, and I saw a couple jokes about this last night on my timeline, with what Tom Brady did in the next game and provided you with such analysis in the next game.
Yeah.
I'm not a Tom Brady fan. He's excellent in the booth. He's a great analyst. He breaks things down very, very well.
I think he's really good. I think he has fun. I think he smiles. I think he gives you good insight. I think he becomes relatable. I think he's gotten a lot better. I don't know why people don't like him. I think he does a really good job. I think he does some things with humility too. I think that's the best pairing in the National Football League. A friend of mine texted me the other day, and he can't stand Roman. He says, you know what? If he would improve tenfold if he got rid of the words maybe, if, and could be out of his vocabulary. Because that's what he says all the time. He doesn't give you anything specifically. He gives you maybes. Appreciate those. Always welcome.